I really hope you're still with us, ladies and gentlemen on the other side. This is Barbara Bartz, absolutely amazing musician, multi-instrumentalist.
there's a beautiful Polish folk song, which is sung to guests when they come over, and when they are about to leave for the night, when we want to invite them to stay overnight. This is what we sing. Well, I hope if you heard that song, you would have stayed the night. Okay, I will play one more folk song this time. It's an English, maybe more American folk song that deals with what it is to be a woman.
Oh, love is teasing, and love is pleasing, and love's a pleasure when first is new. But its love grows older, it too grows colder and fades away like the morning dew. Come, all your fairy maids, now take the warning. Don't ever heed what a young man say. He's like a star on a
So it's another song about a broken heart. Another folk song, this time English folk song. I once loved a boy, a bonny, bonny boy, and I loved him, I'll vow and protest. I loved him so well, so very, very well, that I built him a bower on my breast. I built him a bower on my breast. Well, it's up the long alley and down the green valley, like one that is troubled in mind. I hollered and whooped and play upon my flute, but no bonny boy could I find. No bonny boy could I find. I sat myself down on green mossy bough. The sun, it shone wonderful warm, and whom should I see but my own bonny boy, fast locked in another girl's arms. Now the girl, that's the joy of my own bonny boy. Let her make of him all that she can, and whether he loved me or whether he used me, I'll think of this boy. Cienia, daj mi cienia do złudzenia się. Głębokiego cienia. Cień budzi w ciele organy jęku, ciszy i dźwięku. Bez cienia dzień bezcienny, bezcenny czas w myku ucieka. Cień jest jak zieleń, zieleń, zieleń. Bez cienia dzień bezcenny, bezcenny czas w myku ucieka.
first of our inspirational guests. And then this is a very, very special woman. I hope I'm not going to cry when I'm going to talk about you. Shelley Gook, right? That's her name. And I met her over a year ago when I invited Kaleidoscopic UK, amazing organization who helps domestic abuse survivors. And well, they raise awareness about these all issues. And we connected over a year ago with Vicky Robertson. That I say hi to Vicky if she's watching. And I invited them to record Evelina Flinta's song that we sang today already, Tell Me Why. I thought that just because it sounds like women giving a voice to those who don't have an opportunity to speak, I thought like, what if with the songs that have been written, inspired by real stories of women who've been through these all horrific situations, what if I will ask them to actually re-record the song and to sing themselves? Well, there was like 5 amazing ladies, including also Tracy Graham, who will be with us soon as well. They recorded in my studio after just 3 workshops. We had in my studio 3 workshops, and then we recorded the very special edition of Tell Me Why, featuring obviously amazing Evelina Flinta. This is also on iTunes if you would like to listen and perhaps purchase it. And then we did such an amazing job. But I think, despite the fact that obviously we did professionally and professional single, and where the song sounded really good, the experience for ladies who've been with me, and the experience for me to coach them, if you like, or to teach them how to record the song in the studio, that was something that I will never forget, really. They were very professional, amazing, and Shelley is one of them. Shelley, come here. But Shelley today she not gonna sing this time, right? She will tell you a bit of her story and also show you something that she's very passionate about and tell you about a little bit more. So okay.
Hello everybody online, everybody here as well. I just first of all wanted to say thank you to Luiza for the opportunity to be here and the opportunity previously for recording, and the amazing empowering effect that it had when we did the workshops. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So Luiza invited me here today, and really I'm just going to be talking a little bit about what brought me here, and then also I'm going to be talking about yoga. So I'm a yoga teacher and well-woman yoga therapist, and this is really something that's very much aligned with the workshops and the things that Louise is bringing into the world as well. So I'll just be talking a little bit, and then I'll give us something very quick and practical that we can try here that I think would be nice for everybody just to experience a little.
Yeah.
So my history is I trained in yoga. I became a yoga teacher in 2006, 2007. I actually first came to yoga when I was at university. The first time, and like many people, I was drawn with really like the physical aspects of yoga, and it doesn't take very long before you delve into yoga a little bit more, and this whole new world is really revealed to you. That was certainly my experience. So what yoga is really, first of all, what it's not. There's a real image of yoga. Every time we see yoga portrayed, it's these wonderful postures and people doing really quite weird things on Instagram nowadays. Actually, if you went onto Instagram and you wondered what yoga was, you might have a very peculiar idea. But actually, what yoga is, it's not just being able to put your legs behind your head and all of these things, which can be useful, I'm sure. But yoga really is, it's a healing tool for the world. and it's something that has been able to help me through my whole life, really, since I first came to it, many years ago. My history, as Luiza mentioned, I'm also a survivor, so there was some very dark times that I had when sadly I did have experience of domestic abuse and of domestic violence in my life. And yoga it's been a light that's kept inside of me, and it's helped to keep me through all of these times, all of these really difficult and challenging times that it's so many more people experience than we actually realise, and that's why this is so important to have this reach out here. So the way that yoga helps comes back to the roots of yoga. So yoga is known as union, and it's about connection. So when if we have experienced any turbulence or anything in life, nobody comes through life completely unscathed, I don't think, not in my experience, but when you go through difficult times, and particularly when we go through abuse, we become very disconnected. We become physically disconnected from people around us, from our family, from our friends. That's one of the things that allows abuse to actually thrive, is that the way that you become disconnected from people and silenced, and you become disconnected from yourself as well. You become disconnected from your true, authentic self. Often that's forced on us when we're given different ideas and we're fed ways to believe about ourselves. And we also, if there's physical violence, we become disconnected from our physical body, with a whole range of ways that trauma can affect that. So yoga gives us basically a toolbox of things that we can do to help ourselves, and that become very empowering. And it might be that tiny light that's kept alive. It might be just a physical release through the physical asana, the physical movements in yoga. When we have trauma, it's quite often stored in the body, and the movements that we go through in yoga allow us to release the physical tension and the emotional tension that we hold on to. We also become disconnected from our heart, and yoga really is a process, whichever way we approach it, through the physical, through the breathing, through the meditation. It's a way of coming back home to our hearts. So yoga really is it's a light, and it's a connection, and there's many different ways. Everybody can find a different way to try this in their life. I trained to be a yoga therapist, dealing a lot with women, and I think for a lot of the time I used that in a way I was giving back to people, but not using it so much for myself. It's much easier to give advice out than take it yourself, but I always had that tool, I always had the knowledge there. And I genuinely think if I didn't have some of the practices of yoga, I probably wouldn't have been able to come through where I am. Interestingly, I was going to mention this to Luiza regarding the singing as well. I don't know if people are aware of this, the way that the human body works. So we become connected in many different ways, and when we're experiencing trauma, we become very heightened. So the way that the brain becomes wired, or the neural pathways, where we become hypersensitive. So we're always on alert. We're never able to relax. We're never able to let go. So you never know what's coming. You live in that constant state of stress and constant state of fight or flight. And when we connect with the tools of yoga, the breathing, they're able to help balance our nervous system. and nourish ourselves in many different ways. So I don't know if anybody here is able to join with me, but one of the things that we can do is connecting through the breath. And I will just say, if anybody has experienced trauma, it's not always a nice and a comfortable place to be, sitting quietly with the eyes closed. So there's lots of different ways that we can approach it. And when you're working through, specifically if you're working with trauma or if there's been violence, we're not always happy and comfortable to be within our bodies. So we would just be very kind and very gentle with yourself, always. That's kind of the golden rule, really. But what I'd like to do now is just trying just a simple breathing and body scan. So we'll work a little bit with the physical body, but then coming into the breathing and the mind. And these are the different layers that we have through yoga. So if anybody's going to be joining, you just have to sit comfortably.
I'm ready for yoga. I love it.
And okay, yeah, so the first thing is just being present. The other thing I just was going to mention, sorry, I forgot, is yoga brings us into the present moment. If you're in troubled times, if you're experiencing abuse, we're really caught up in this distorted perception of the world. We're worried, we're always waiting for the next thing, we're really not connected into ourselves now. And the one thing that will bring us into that connection is the breath. So what I'd like you to do is just sit as comfortably as you can do. And you can do this at any time. We don't need to have all the paraphernalia and fancy leggings and stuff like that. We can just do this whenever. So find a way that you can be comfortable. If you can sit a little bit with the spine slightly taller, that's helpful, but it's really more about how you are right now. And if you are sitting, it's nice to have the feet firmly onto the ground and just begin that process of connecting into yourself and connecting into the moment just by noticing the sensation of the feet. Or if you're sitting or kneeling, just notice the sensation of the ground underneath you. And even this connection, connecting our physical bodies to the ground and the earth, allows us to find that union and that connection with something larger than ourselves. And when we're caught up in the mind, physically coming to the earth and to the ground in any way that we can do is going to be really helpful. So noticing, you might be feeling bare feet, you might have shoes and socks, however you are. Just notice the sensation on the soles of the feet and notice anything that comes up. Just start paying attention a little bit to the thoughts and the feelings that come up. It might be comfort, it might be discomfort. We might be able to already be in a place that's quite calm. We've had such beautiful music and sound energy today, and it's beautiful surroundings where we are. Or we might be in a place where we're really not able to connect with that immediately. Whatever happens, there's no right way or no wrong way. We're just noticing how this is. And then we're going to release a little physical tension from the body. So rolling the shoulders back and down. So rolling them, releasing, and this happens. I wouldn't be surprised if Luiza's got a lot of tension in the shoulders after running around today. And this happens subconsciously, so we just notice and then we just release, allow them back and down. You can tilt the ear to the shoulder, one side and the other, and then maybe rolling the head really slowly down and forwards. And even doing these slight changes, just be aware of anything that happens within the body. And then we can stay with the eyes open, just focusing on something in the surroundings. If you're a person that's comfortable to have the eyes closed, you can gently allow the eyes to be closed. And we're going to just take the hand. So you're going to take your left hand and place it over your heart, and your right hand and place it onto your belly or your abdomen. And these centres, really the aim of yoga, we want to be able to come back into our heart and come back into the physical body. If there's anywhere that would make you more comfortable, you may prefer to have the hands down. That's absolutely fine. Remember, having that sense of comfort and ease is the most important thing. So then we turn our attention to our breath, which is drawing us inwards. And the first thing we're going to do is lengthen the exhale, just to a level that you're comfortable with again. One way that we can try doing this is breathing in for 4 and breathing out for slightly longer, maybe 6. If there's lots of the singers amongst us, I'm sure they do loads of breathing, and you might be able to really lengthen the exhale, so whatever is suitable for you, that's fine. And what we're doing with this longer exhale is engaging with the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's the opposite to that stress state. And gently with the hands on the heart and the belly, imagine you're really just sending positive regards, sending positive regards or thoughts or love into yourself. And after we've done a few of these longer breaths, we're going to bring the breath into balance. Maybe counting a rhythm of 6 in and 6 out. And the flow of the breath, this is where we come into using the hands as well. We're going to inhale, so from the bottom hand, you're going to inhale up to the heart, to the top hand. And you're going to exhale from the top hand to the bottom hand. If at any time anyone experiences anything they're not happy with, just come back into focusing, opening the eyes, focusing on something around you. And if you find this soothing, we can do this for around another 3 or 4 breaths, finding that equal balance. Feet onto the floor, shoulders soft, jaw soft. Sending that positive regard into ourselves and imagining, if you will, a light or a candle inside that you're nourishing with this breath. And the next time you exhaled, you can gently release the hands down, maybe sitting for a moment. And really, that's something that we can do wherever, whenever. One of the simple things that embodies really everything that we're trying to work with yoga is bringing us into present, bringing us into ourselves, connecting with the balancing out the systems in the body that get dysregulated and hypersensitive when we are going through times of trauma. And that's it, Luiza. Yeah.